Hello and welcome to Tokyo Good Games match preview of the Carabao Cup second round. Wolves against West Ham United. The draw, neither manager wanted. I think when the draw was happening, a couple of people messaged, "Oh, who do you think we'll get? Who do you want?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Oh, it's a Carabao Cup draw tonight." I was like, completely unaware. But anyway, I tuned in, and when Wolves came out, followed by West Ham, it's just boring. It is just a boring fixture. Graham Potter doesn't want this. West Ham don't want this. Pereira don't want this. Wolves don't want this. No one wants to see this fixture early on in the Carabao Cup. But that's the hand we've been dealt with. Now, usually, I'm all for the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, when they come round. I think this is the priority. Let's try and win a tournament. At the start of every single season, without fail, my dream for the upcoming season is to win the FA Cup. My second choice is to win the Carabao Cup. That's what I'd love to see. And ideally, we'd already have a win under our belt in one of the two games. So we go into this one and you can field a pretty strong team. You can keep the momentum going and hopefully beat Wolves and look forward to the next round. And the dream stays alive for another couple of weeks at least. But it's difficult. However, what this game does do, it presents both managers an opportunity to try things because both teams are without a win. Both teams have got beat in their first two games. Admittedly, ours is a lot worse than what theirs were. I've watched both of Wolves' games so far this season. The one against Manchester City, a spirited performance from Wolves, just outclassed in the end. Reinders turned up and looked world class. Haaland was on the ball. It was difficult for Wolves. I watched them against Bournemouth over the weekend. They had the chances. They could have taken the lead before Bournemouth did. But once they went down to 10 men, when Totti Gomez got sent off, it was one-way traffic a little bit. Wolves still had a couple of opportunities, but I thought Bournemouth were more likely to score the second one rather than Wolves getting the equaliser. So I think there's a little bit of pressure on both managers going into this one because I think normally you wouldn't really be arsed about losing. As a Premier League manager, if you lost this game, you're probably not that bothered. It's not the end of the world, is it? I'd imagine both of their bosses, their employers are saying to them, just make sure we don't get relegated. The aim this season is not to get relegated. I'd be surprised if there's any mention of trying to win the Carabao Cup. But when you've lost the first two games, I think it changes things. Do you go full strength and try and win it? Or do you experiment? Do you change it up? Do you give players an opportunity? Do you change formation? Because both of these managers have played three at the back so far. Pereira's slightly different. It's sort of two number 10s and one striker, whereas us it's two strikers and no number 10. But I think Potter's got to do one or the other here. I think Potter's got to go full strength and make sure you win. If you go full strength and you get beat by a rotated Wolves team, it's not going to be a good look. In a weird way, I think it's risky going full strength for that reason. Or does he change it? Does he go to a back four? Does he bring in some of the younger players and give them an opportunity ahead of those whose shirt has been uncontested so far this season? That's what I'm going to discuss with you in just a second about what I would like to see. I'm in and out about this one. On one side, I think it's important to go full strength and get the win. On the other hand, I think it's important you try something. Because if we did go full strength in one, would I be confident we're going to beat Nottingham Forest? Probably not. But if we did something differently and it worked and it looked good and some players who hadn't started the previous two games came in and looked good, I think you learn a lot from that. I think there's a lot you can take out of that game going forward. Anyway, welcome to my match preview riding solo tonight. And if it looks like I've got bed here, it's because I do. I've not been very well the last 26... I was fine yesterday, 1 p.m. Fine. By 4 p.m. yesterday, shivering, sweating, sore head, sore throat, barely stay awake. Not good. Anyway, today, a tiny bit better, going in waves, so I'm struggling a little bit, so you're going to have to deal with me. You're going to have to deal with my voice, my attitude, and my bed here. But let's have a look at the tactics board. Let me get the ball off the pitch. We don't need that. Areola in goal for me. Now, I would have said this anyway, even if Hermansen done well. So let's just say Hermansen played well against Sunderland and Chelsea. I would still be saying rotate it. I think it's only right you give when you've got a goalkeeper as good as Areola on the bench, I think it's important you keep them match sharp, you keep them fresh, and also because of Hermansen's bad performances, the gloves are now there to be won. And there's quite a few spaces up for grabs, I think, in this starting 11. The goalkeeper certainly one of them. Areola comes in, Areola plays well, he starts against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. Moving into the back four. Kyle Walker-Peters, Wan-Bissaka shirts up for grabs. That was horrendous. That performance from Wan-Bissaka was horrific against Chelsea. So Walker-Peters, who I think has looked all right when we've seen him in glimpses, he comes in for me. And again, if he plays well, he starts against Nottingham Forest. Now, he can obviously cover right and left, so playing well on the right doesn't mean he has to play right back in the next game. It could be you put Wan-Bissaka there and you put Kyle Walker-Peters over at left back. But I would certainly start him. I think there's a few players that haven't started in the last 2 games that are sort of first name on the team sheet for me coming into this one. That's 2. I mean, actually, the next guy is as well, and that's Mavropanos. Don't get it. I don't get it. I think he's looked like our best centre-back under Graham Potter. Going back to last season, I think he was the one centre-back that was looking good at the end of the season. He's just not had a chance, and the 3 he keeps playing are just not very good at all. He needs an opportunity, and again, he plays well, he starts against Nottingham Forest. Now, the player next to him is either Kilman or a Gerd, really, isn't it? I'm not sure about Tadibo playing on the left hand. I'm not sure about Tadibo playing at all, but never mind on the left. I put a Gerd in. I guess it's just a case of what partnership would I like to see blossom? If I could pick 2 centre-backs at West Ham that work well together, who would it be? It would possibly be Mavropanos and a Gerd. I think you get a little bit of everything between them. I think Mavropanos is a lot more dominant in the air than what a Gerd is. Larson is good in the air, so that's Mavropanos' man to pick up. He's going to have to mark him, assuming Larson starts, and a Gerd next to him for that distribution at the back. Now, over at left back, I'm going to bring in Ollie Scarles. Again, when we've seen him, he's done all right. He's had a couple of iffy games. It's expected for such a young player. He's had to be patient. I think in pre-season, when I seen him, I was quite pleased with what I seen. And I thought Diouf's done okay the last couple of games. He hasn't been brilliant, but I don't think he's been terrible. I think there's been a lot bigger problems in the team than Al-Hadji Malik Diouf. But if we switch to back 4, I do have a question mark over him as a left back. I haven't seen him as a left back, bar that friend against England, but I'm not using that as evidence as to why I think he'd be good at left back in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest have got really quick wingers, and they've got a lot of quick wingers as well. So whoever plays left back or left wing back in that game is going to have to be on it, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. And I'd like to see Scarles get a chance tomorrow night at the Molineux. Put him left back as far as I'm concerned. However, I'd still play Diouf. I would just put him in that left winger role. I think defensively he's looked a little bit suspect, but offensively I think he's looked good. We just don't utilise him enough. We've really struggled to get the ball out to him. Against Sunderland in particular, whenever we were trying to pass out to him, the ball was coming from Tadibo most of the time, out from here there. But by the time we got there, Hume was heading away. So it was we've struggled to get him on the ball. In pre-season, we've seen him whip cross after cross. And now the season's got underway, we've struggled to get him in a position to cross it. That needs resolved quick. And I think one of the ways you can do that is by putting Scarles in behind him so that he can come forward, he can link up with him, he can go on the overlap, he can go on the underlap, and just drag players out of the way and just give Diouf that little bit of space to try and get crosses in. On the assumption that Wolves continue playing 3 at the back, and I'd be shocked if they changed it, you could get a little bit of joy down that side. Now, Doherty will usually, if it was a league game, maybe Doherty's up against. And Doherty will come out here and play against him. I'd fancy Diouf's chances against him, actually, just going on a one-on-one with him. So I'd really like to see him playing out there. Potts is one of the first names on team sheet for me. I think it's self-explanatory, isn't it? Played all pre-season and doesn't play. Now, I don't think he was very good in the second half against Chelsea. I thought he struggled. But he came on in difficult circumstances with a really bad midfield and a really bad team. Not a fair game to judge him on. I didn't judge him on it. I'd have him starting at the Molineux. Jared Bourne out in his best position out on that right-hand side. I appreciate stats-wise he's looked all right as a striker under Porter. I ain't having it. I'm never been convinced. The game so far have just given me more evidence as to why I don't like it. Can we please have our best player in his best position? Because it may, believe it or not, make a slight difference going forward. He's our most creative player and he's our best goal scorer. He scores goals and creates goals from this area of the pitch. So let's get him in that area of the pitch, please. So I would like to see Jared Bowen there. Perhaps surprisingly, I'm going to put Callum Wilson up front. Now, I'm a big Fulkrug fan, you know this. I've not been impressed. I thought Ballard pocketed him, and then I thought Chalobah pocketed him. I thought he was just diving around on Friday night. It's very disappointing. For such a big lad and quite an aggressive player, he didn't have any of that. I thought Wilson came on, put himself about a bit. I thought he gave everything. I'm okay with that. I was brought up by my old man that when you support West Ham, as long as they give 100% for the badge, that's enough for us. Wilson, as much as I don't like the transfer, gave 100% against Chelsea, and he's one of the few players that could come off saying, I did nothing wrong. Looked like he was lacking confidence when he got that opportunity. Is it because he's lacking confidence or because he's a bit old and that strike is not going to come back? Don't know. I worry it's the latter, and he's not going to get it back. That stutter that he did against Chelsea. Callum Wilson 3 years ago, I'm confident, hits that earlier and possibly scores that chance. But let's give him an opportunity against Wolves. Callum Wilson up front for me. That leaves another couple of positions, doesn't it? The sort of number 10 role in the central midfielder. And it's 3 into 2 for me. So let me just describe my thinking here. I've got Paqueta, I've got Orford, and I've got Souček. Now I have Marshall here because I was debating saying put him out left or him up front, but I'd certainly have him off the bench. Now it's these 3 into 2. Putting Orford in there next to Potts feels bold, especially when you've got Scars at left back, you've got Juve at left wing, Orford in there with Potts. It feels very youthful. Luckily, we've got Wilson dragging the age up. It makes me a little bit nervous. Now, I'm tempted to say, let's just do it. Let's be bold. I'm too scared. I don't want to chuck youngsters in like Sam Allardyce and they struggle and then they get beat up and you really ruin them a little bit. So I'd put Souček in next to Potts and put Paqueta further up the pitch next to Callum Wilson. I think that's what I would like to see tomorrow night at the Molineux. Experiment. Give players an opportunity. And if this works, if we look good and we play well and we win, there's a real serious conversation to be had around most of those starting against Nottingham Forest. I appreciate they won't. I appreciate that Wan-Bissaka will start against Nottingham Forest regardless. I appreciate that Füllkrug would likely start against Nottingham Forest regardless. And I understand why. No one has to explain it to me. But I don't want to see... I have no desire to see Todibo and Kilman. I have no desire to see James Ward-Prowse tomorrow night at the Molineux. If he does, if Potter does go full strength, I think we have to win. I think the most embarrassing thing tomorrow night is if we go full strength, Wolves rotate, and we get knocked out. I think that would be a very difficult press conference for Graham Potter. I won't react well to it either. If he rotates it and we lose... At least he was trying something. I think most of my frustration at the minute is the fact that I don't feel like he's changing it enough. He's not trying enough to adapt and come up with something new. Tomorrow presents that opportunity. In terms of how I see it going, it's quite difficult, isn't it? Because this is where you've got to go from what you want to see to what you think you'll see. And it's very difficult to predict what Potter's going to do, but it's also very difficult to predict what Pereira is going to do. But because we've lost both games, both teams have lost both games, I think we'll see quite a strong team. When I've done my little team here, I don't think this is what you'll do, by the way. I think you might see Walker-Peters. Have I got my Wan-Bissaka? Let's get my Wan-Bissaka here. I think you might see Wan-Bissaka at the back. Juve left wing back, Agerd. Maybe Mavropanos. Maybe he'll come in midfield. Maybe Potts and Souček's what we'll see. Paqueta, Bowen, and maybe Füllkrug. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I had to predict what he's going to do. I think it would be that. I think he's going to go quite strong. I think he'll stick with his 3 at the back, make a couple of changes, but I don't think he'll make too many. He needs to win. I think Potter will feel the pressure tomorrow night that he needs to win. As a result, I'm going to say it's a boring draw. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say we're getting beat on pens. I'm not looking forward to it as much as I should be. Now, I appreciate at the minute I'm not feeling great. That's possibly not helping. And also the transfer window is going on and all the rumours today are not good. And I think those things at the minute are just overshadowing the game for me. I almost have to remind myself we're playing tomorrow. It doesn't feel like we have a game tomorrow. That's bad. It might just be me. And apologies if it is just me, by the way. But it feels bad. I mean, I've not been like this before. Normally I know exactly when the next game is. I'm looking forward to the next game. Missing that at the minute. Missing my mojo, my spark. Hopefully we can go out tomorrow night, stick a couple of goals past Wolves, win, give us a little bit of hope going into the Nottingham Forest game, because that's what we're lacking at the minute. Hope. I come into the start of the season dreaming of winning a trophy. I have very little hope of winning a game. I need hope back, and the only way we're going to get hope is by picking up wins. And yes, I know, we beat Wolves, it'll be a case of, it was only the cup, it was Wolves' rotated team. I appreciate that. But at the minute, I'll take it. I will absolutely take that right now. Anyway, I'm not feeling too confident, as you can imagine. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for putting up my bed here. Before you disappear, if you would be so kind to drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up, Scum You Damage Chat. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow.